Yo, what's going on? This is Preston. You are tuned in to Hear These Thoughts Podcast YouTube channel. Thank you guys for checking in. Please, if you guys get a chance, hit the subscribe button, like, share, comment. Let me know what you guys think. I'm trying to meet up to 100 subscribers. I would appreciate if you guys would, contribute to that. All right. Sorry about the shaking camera. But today I decided I wanted to do a review of Drake's double album, Scorpion. It just dropped today. And I want to do a quick review on it. I don't want to do a deep dive on it. I've only listened to the album about 10 times. I don't think that's enough to actually give you a deep analysis of every little thing that happens on here. But I'm going to try my best to keep this thing short because this is a long album. It's a very, very long album, and it's 3 o'clock in the morning, and I got to be at work at 6. But without further ado, one of the things I do appreciate about this album a lot is that we got normal Drake. We didn't get Calypso Drake. We didn't get fake Jamaican Drake. We didn't get dancehall Drake. We got normal Drake. And I'm completely fine with those other Drakes. I do like Passion Fruit. I do like the songs that he made in that avenue. And I understand that he's multi-talented and he has to do what he has to do. But I'm more so the fan from Drake from So Far Gone, Take Care, Nothing Was the Same. If you're reading This Is Too Late, I'm a fan of those type of Drakes. So, I mean, More Life and Views were cool, but I'm more so of a fan of the original Drake. And I really appreciate that about this album. And this album as a collective, it sounds like it's a mixture of If You're Reading This Is Too Late and Nothing Was the Same in my personal opinion. So, If You're Reading This Is Too Late is one of my favorite mixtapes that came out probably in the last couple years. So, it's good news for me. So first I'm going to go and just skim over the first side of this album, side A, which is the rapping side, and then side B is more of the R&B pop side of it. So I'm just going to give you guys a quick review and just kind of tell you guys about some lines and some songs that really stood out to me that I really, really appreciate. So if you guys got the time, just bear with me. It's not going to take all day. I'm not going to do a reaction video because that's going to take forever and I don't have all day, absolutely. So thank you guys for watching this video. First and foremost, I want to hit you guys with the first track. It's called Survival. This track is really slow. What I really appreciate about this track is this Drake is coming out here spitting. He's spitting bars. And one of the lines, and if you guys see me keep looking at this section, I wrote notes in here because it's too early in the morning for me to memorize everything. But one line that stood out to me a lot is he said, I thought about it. It's unsettling to talk about it, which means he said he had something in his mind that he thought about that he wanted to do, but somehow he probably talked himself out of it. And if he thinks about what he thought about before, if you guys are following me, then it's going to put him back in that state of being angry and cycle back into that situation. And like most people who are listening to this album, we're looking to little, quick lines, shots at Pusha T or Kanye West. And I definitely feel like that has to do with the diss track that Jay Prince did not want him to drop that was supposedly supposed to end Kanye and Pusha T's career. I don't know how much I believe that, but we'll never know. We'll never know. I feel like that has something to do with that he at that point he was fed up. There's a line also here that he said, I didn't have to sever the ties, it severed themselves. And with that, like most people, they have their mind fixated on the Kanye West thing. I feel like he was referring to Kanye West there because if it seems like that he's always wanted to sever ties with Kanye West, but maybe that beef between him and Pusha T finally got it to the point where he could sever those ties without even having to make an effort. Like Pusha T just put it right there and made it happen. Because it seems kind of weird that, Drake took a lot of shots at Kanye West on a Duppy freestyle, so maybe that's all connected somehow. But anyways, we're talking about his album. Survival, it's a nice intro track. I like it a lot. Drake always come out spitting bars on his first track. It's something like Tuscan Leather. He's doing his thing. Track number 2 is called Nonstop. This right here is a banger. I love the beat on here. If you guys got great speakers, you guys are gonna love this. One of the lines once again on here that he says, I feel like that he's taking another shot at Mr. West. He says people are pulling gimmies because they scared to rap. And if you guys remember in Duppy freestyle and most of the things he said, he pretty much said he helped write on a lot of Kanye West songs. Even Kanye West said that Drake wrote on his song Yikes from the album Ye. So with that being said, he's saying that Kanye West is scared to write for himself, so he's depending on Drake to write for him, So this track right here, once again, is a banger. That's one of the lines that stood out to me. There's a lot more quotables on this track, but I'm not going to say it here because I don't want to take too long. Track number 3 is called Elevate. Basically, all he's doing here is saying that, hey, we need to elevate in our situation, get our money right. I put my family in position that's a lot better than they were before. One thing that's interesting about this track that I will say is that if you guys heard Nothing Was the Same, there's a track on there called Connect. And the third part of that song, there's a sample there that sounds like it's actually being used in the track once again over and over, which I think is interesting because they use it in a different way here. You can tell that it's the same thing, but they pretty much put some different drums behind it, and I like it. I like it a lot. And so far on this album, you know, Drake is pretty much 3 for 3 in my opinion. The track after that is a track called Emotionless. It has a church sample in the background. It's pretty much boom bap-ish. And he's pretty much telling people, do not act like you knew that this album was going to come out as good as it is. You guys are not going to miss me till I'm dead. Basically telling people that, hey, you guys don't appreciate me as much as you guys say you do, but you guys won't appreciate me until I'm gone. And I don't know if he's referring to haters or the people around him, because in another part of his album, he says that he wished he was the old Drake who aspired to be where he is right now, which is like the Drake who had a simpler life, that was not famous. Maybe he had more fun looking forward to being in the position he is rather than actually being in the position that he is, because he has to look around and seeing who's for him, who's against him, what people is on his side, what people is on the other side, and it's way too complex and way too much going on in his life to him to focus on all of that stuff. The next track after that, it's and on Emotionless, one thing I do want to point out, he said, it's a line on here that stood out a lot. He said, I wasn't hiding my kid from the world, I was hiding the world from my kid. So he pretty much addressed those rumors of him trying to hide his kid, as Pusha T addressed in his diss track Story of Adidon, which makes sense. It doesn't sound like a cop-out, because there are people out there who do not want to expose their kids to the crazy things that's going on in this world. He doesn't want to expose himself to media outlets and expose them out to Instagram. Maybe he wants to share it to the world when he wants to share it to the world, you know, and that's his choice, and it makes a lot of sense. But still, you know, Pusha T's track is still fire. After that, we have 2 tracks that we've already heard. God's Plan, which is a great summer record, great heartwarming video. I really like this song. It's still catchy to this day. But then after that, it's confusing that it has a track, I'm Upset, which this track I don't like at all. I didn't like it when I first heard it. It felt like it was a throwaway track. I can't believe it actually made it on the album. And this is probably the weakest song on this side of the album, which is good for those people who love that track, because that's the worst it can get. So I'm happy for y'all, you know. After that, you have a track called 8 out of 10. It sounds like a Just Blaze beat. And, you know, one line that stood out to me about this track, and I really like this track, is when he said the only dead beats here is the beats that I was rapping on. And I thought that was very interesting. I don't think that's like the greatest line of all time, but I thought it was a good way to try to flip, you know, the accusations of him being a deadbeat dad, you know. The next track after that is called Mob Ties. The sound of it has like some type of mobbish, theme-ish type of sound to it. It's pretty decent, you know. It's very light. You can hear the samples in there a little bit, but it's not like as strong enough for you to be like, yo, this doesn't sound like a mob record. I can hear it a little bit in there, but there's some parts in here where he sounds like Young Thug a lot. But this track here, he's pretty much saying, get rid of people. I'm not trying to talk to y'all. Ain't no apologizing. Y'all did what y'all did, so stay over there. It's done with. There's no apologizing. And once again, I feel like on this track, he's addressing Mr. West, because remember, Kanye West spoke to Jay Prince and kind of explained some things with him, and he tweeted out something basically saying the beef is over. I'm not into this beef stuff. But if this is a response to that, Drake is pretty much saying, I don't care what you with or what you not with. We're done. I have nothing else to say to you. You did everything that you needed to do. And maybe there's some things that Kanye West did behind the scenes that Drake has not told us, or anyone else has told us. But Drake is at the point where he's like, you know what? I don't got time for this, and I'm done with this. And it's kind of weird that Drake and Jay-Z is, you know, 2 artists that probably pretty much have that sentiment against Kanye West. But, you know, I guess we'll figure out in the future. After that, we have the track Can't Take a Joke. It has more of a Nothing Was the Same type vibe to it. There's nothing deep about this track, but I like it. The next track after that is called Sandra's Rose. If you guys don't know, Drake's mom name is Sandy. So he's referring to her and referring to himself as being her rose, and, you know, pretty much talking about how he develops in different areas and how special he is, not only to his mom, but him being the artist that he is. And, you know, this track goes a little bit more deeper. I'd rather you guys listen to it rather than me tell you the whole premise of it. I think it's a really good track. The beat is very fitting for this. There's a line in here that I thought was really hilarious. He said, like, Charlemagne, I see the light and the dark patches, which is crazy. And for those who don't know who Charlemagne is, he is one of the hosts on The Breakfast Club, Power 105.1. Before, he had discoloration issues with the skin. Parts of it was light, parts of it was dark. He had dark patches all over it. And yeah, this is kind of like a play off of that, and I thought that was really interesting. The track after that is called Talk Up, featuring Jay-Z. It has a very kind of like a basic trap beat. It's not a bad beat, but it's a pretty decent trap beat. As far as Drake and Jay-Z's verses, they're pretty cool. They're okay. You know, they're not like trying to lyrically kill each other. It's not the best as far as them two being on the track together. But, you know, I feel like Tusk and Leather, they both finally went in. But in this one, they didn't go in as much. But there is a line that Jay-Z said in here that is so real, that really stands out to me. He said, y'all killed X as in XXXTentacion, but Zimmerman lives. The streets is done. And that poses a really good question and a good thought. It's like, yo, y'all gonna kill your own people, but Zimmerman's still walking around here after everything that he did. And I'm hoping that, you know, first of all, I don't know if I'm hoping, but y'all don't do nothing stupid out there to Zimmerman. You know, first and foremost, y'all don't want to go to jail for murder. Y'all don't want to do anything stupid. Second of all, if you do something stupid or anyone does something stupid, the bad thing would have happened after you going to jail is that Jay-Z would, you know, they would be like, yo, he incited this. Jay-Z incited this violence, which he didn't say go kill him, but people take, you know, things and try to make it and twist it. We all know how the media works, so I'm hoping that that isn't the case. The track after that is called Is There More? That is the final track on this first half of this album. The sample on this beat is kind of interesting. It's kind of creepy because it sounds like, I don't know if you guys saw the movie Sinister with Ethan Hawke, that little beat with the weird voices in the back that they play during the end credits. It sounds like that's kind of sampled here, or either it was inspired in this one. And there's some interesting things that's been said here. One of the things he said, as soon as this album dropped, he's out of the deal. He's pretty much probably referring to Young Money, YMCMB. He's probably referring to Young Money for the most part, that he's out of that deal once this album drops. Maybe that's the reason why he did a double album, so he can get out the contract a lot faster. Maybe he had 2 more albums in his contract. And it's very interesting that he put that out there. I don't know if he has some issues with Young Money. Maybe he does, maybe he don't. And one thing he said he was tired of is corporate ties. And he's tired of women with butts that's disproportionate with their bodies. So I don't know if that was aimed to Nicki Minaj, because we all know that her butt is disproportionate with her body. We know what's going on with that whole situation. And for some reason at the end of the track, and I'm looking at my notes here, for some reason at the end of the track, it has a Aaliyah More Than a Woman sample at the end of it. I don't understand what that has to do with anything. I don't understand why it's there. It doesn't make any sense to me, but I still love the song More Than a Woman, and I think this track is pretty dope. I like this song overall. So if I wanted to rate the first half of the Scorpion album, I would definitely give it an 8 out of 10. There are a lot of songs that I like on here. The 2 songs I don't like the most is I'm Upset and Mob Ties. You know, all the rest of them I like a lot. God's Plan, Survival, Nonstop is one of my favorite tracks on there. I mean, yeah, it's a pretty good rap album as far as that goes. Now, part B of this album, side B, we start into the R&B side of it. The first track that comes out is called Peak. It's like the typical slow R&B Drake style record. He's pretty much talking about, you know, this girl that he's trying to talk to, and there's other people who have their own perceptions on who he is, and they don't understand who he is. They're only seeing him from far away, and only she knows who he is. And he's getting tired of people who judging him based upon what they see from where they are. That's not totally who he is. And it's getting him to the point where he's getting upset, where he want to turn up and kind of yell. You know, that's pretty much what this track is. The track after that is a track called Summer Games, and this happens to a lot of people. It's called Summer Games because it's about him talking about this girl where in the summertime she doesn't want to be anywhere around them. She seems upset with them, like she has a problem with them all the time. But then when wintertime comes around, she wants to hang out. She wants to be all on top of them, cuddling with them and everything like that. Sorry to say, Drake, but she's using you, dog. She's using you. I'm sorry to say that, but Drake is an emotional dude, so you can't really tell him anything. And this track is a little interesting because it has a poppy feel to it. It kind of reminds me of the song RoboCop from Kanye West, 808 and Heartbreaks, just sonically. I didn't like this song at first, but after a few listens, it started to grow on me. So I really appreciate this track. The track after that is called Jaded. This song is about a woman who pretty much used him for everything he had and left him. And it got him to the point where he's jaded about women. And he doesn't want to get into a new relationship because he feels like that he's going to hurt the next person because he's not healed. But the part that pains him is that he's still good friends with the girl that left, with her mother and her family members. And he's like just trying to figure out why she did that, and it doesn't make any sense. And it sounds like there's some samples either from Jagged Edge or maybe that's Majid Jordan in there that's singing, some parts in there. I know that's him in the background, but it sounds like there's something that's being sampled in there. The next track after that is a song called Finesse. It's about him that he wants to be around this girl. I'm not sure if they broke up or not because he didn't really put it in there. If this has something to do with the girl in Jaded, he wants to be around this girl. He wants to do what she wants to do, even though those are the things that contradict his moral values. He said he wants to have a baby with her, and that's not something he feels like it's the right thing to do. He doesn't like going to fashion shows and wearing suits and ties, but he want to go to be around her, and it's weird to be there when they have to pretend like they don't know each other. It pains him, and that explains the poster or the billboard that he put up that said that he's not into fashion shows, you are. So that refers back to this song. So maybe he's actually talking to somebody he's dealing with at the moment in real life. So only people who would know that is Drake and the woman he's talking about, obviously, because he's a very transparent artist. That's a good track as well. He has a song on there called Ratchet Happy Birthday. Ratchet Happy Birthday. That's exactly how it sounds. It's exactly how it sounds. It's not as ratchet as you guys think it is, as he make it out to be. It's actually very classy if you hear it. But it's dope because this is a song that's going to be used in a lot of women's birthday party and a lot of people's Instagram videos when it's their birthday. A lot of people's Snapchat when it's their birthday. And this is definitely not made for guys. This is not a song for the guys unless, it all depends on how you live your life, man. I don't judge people. You know what I'm saying? Like, if that's what you like, that's what you like. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. After that, he has a song called That's How You Feel. The real interesting thing about this track is that he has a sample of Nicki Minaj rapping from Boss. And I don't understand why the samples are in there, but maybe what she said in that song was directed towards Drake. And I think Drake is petty enough to kind of put this in the song and kind of throw it in her face, because in this song he's pretty much saying that there's a girl who's working all the time. She work all winter to floss in the summertime, and she don't have a lot of time. So maybe he's referring to Nicki Minaj in those verses, and he sampled what she said at one of her concerts because he know that has something to do with him. And he said he was out of the contract after this album dropped, so maybe he doesn't care about what he has to say anymore. There's nothing to be afraid of. There's nothing to be worried about because he's not there anymore. The next one is Blue Tint featuring Future. It's a pretty much dope track. I don't have a problem with it at all. It seems like a normal Drake Future track. It sounds like something that came off of What a Time to Be Alive. And it's not a bad track at all. I think it's probably the weakest track on this R&B side, but it's not a bad song at all. One of Drake's worst track can be the best track in somebody else's album. I would definitely take it if he gave it to me. He has another song off of that called In My Feelings. Let's see. In My Feelings. It's a club banger. It sounds like everything that came from Nice for What. And Nice for What is on this album. It's actually after the track Jaded. I didn't mention it because we all heard the track already, but In My Feelings sounds just like a club banger. It has a sample of Lil Wayne from Lollipop in there, and most of the sounds, as far as the drums and stuff, the drum patterns, BPM, it sounds just like Nice for What. It's gonna be a club banger that women are gonna love at any moment in the club. If that's what it's made for, that's what it's made for. After that, he has a song featuring Michael Jackson called Don't Matter to Me. And you know what? When I saw this track, I was kind of worried about it. I didn't know how he was going to utilize Michael Jackson, and if he did it the wrong way, a lot of people wouldn't be okay with it. But it's a pretty good song. It's not a great song. Michael Jackson is not like technically in the song like that. I mean, he's just on the hook, but he's not singing an entire verse. It sounds like one of the songs that came off the album Escape, the one that Timbaland produced and used a whole bunch of old Michael Jackson tracks and put them on new beats. That's kind of what this sounds like, which is fine. You know, it didn't blow me away. Still one of my favorite Drake and Legend collabs is still Doing It Wrong. I still like that song from Take Care with him and Stevie Wonder. I still like that a lot. But this track is okay. The next track after that is called After Dark. It's featuring it's featuring Static Major and Ty Dolla $ign. This track sounds like an old school 90s track. It's pretty cool. Ty Dolla $ign comes in and always makes every track amazing. You know, R.I.P. to Static Major. If you guys didn't know, he worked with Lil Wayne on the song Lollipop. And, you know, he does a great job on this. I don't know what sample they took or what vocals they took to add him in this, but it fits perfectly. They did a really good job with this. The next track after that is Final Fantasy. That track, I didn't listen to it too many times because all it is Drake talking nasty to the ladies. So I don't know how I feel having Drake in my ears talking to me like he's talking to women. And, it didn't like, creep me out, but it's like, what is it doing for me? You know, it's not doing anything for me. But it's a cool track. It's for ladies. If it's to get women, feeling that way, women are going to love this at that concert. They're probably going to pass out or whatever. The next track after Final Fantasy is the final track on this part of the album. It's called March 14th. And this is probably the most interesting track in the entire double album. And, in this track, he's explaining his relationship with his baby mother. He said they only met twice. They don't really get along. He made this song on March 14th, and he's saying the baby is supposed to arrive in 2 weeks. So if it's March 14th, then the baby would arrive March 28th, maybe 29th, all depending on when the baby arrives. And that kind of explains his whole situation, because Pusha T's the story added on dropped last month in June. So at that point, the baby would have been about 3 months old when Pusha T dropped it. So I don't know. I don't know. That's a long time to wait to kind of announce for a baby, But one of the interesting things that Drake says in his track, he said he was embarrassed because he didn't want to have the idea of being a co-parent. Like, he was embarrassed of not having an entire family. That how that looked to his parents. He didn't like that at all. So that could be a reason why he hid it. But at the same time, I don't know, man. I really don't know what to say about this situation. I don't have any input. The only way we can know is if you talk to Drake, and that's probably not going to happen. But for this part of the album, as far as this one goes, I would give it, I'll also give it an 8. Altogether, it's an entire double album. Drake Scorpion, I give it an 8 out of 10. I think it's a great album. A very rare occasion where a double album is really good. The last double album we had that I think was really good was Big Crit's Forever Is a Mighty Long Time, which I really enjoyed that album. But it's been a while since somebody made a double album that actually works and actually is cohesive. Being a double album is one of the things that plagued the Blueprint too. So, you never know. Everybody can't make a good double album. So, if you guys have any comments about this, quick review. I tried to make it as quick as possible. It's a long album and it's early in the morning. Please respond to me in the comment section. Like, dislike, subscribe, share. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys for watching the video. You guys have a good day. I'm about to get some sleep. Salute.